Good morning. Welcome to the weather now, top of the 11 o'clock hour, a few minutes past the top actually, and we're going to begin actually on a tropical note. I know you see this big scary thing on your TV screen, on your maybe your smartphone, your device, and right off the bat, this is not in our neck of the woods. This is in the Central Pacific. The only landmass to really compare to here, or kind of frame of reference for you, that's the Hawaiian island chain. The Big Island, of course, the further southeast, and then you're working your way up towards Oahu, Honolulu, that area, the further north and west you go. We're going to cover what's going on here because it is in the middle of summer. People, well, I guess technically towards the end of summer, and people likely go on vacations, on cruises, maybe you have family in Hawaii. This will be a big newsmaker here over the next several days. So just wanted to kind of touch base, let you know that we, as the First Alert Weather team, are watching it, even though it is not a direct threat to us. I'll also cover the Atlantic Basin, whatever's going on. And if you have any questions, WTOC TV on Facebook, this is going to be a really good resource. Also going to check the Twitter account, especially after this conversation, at WTOC11, see if anyone tweeted any questions, and I will go back and be answering those. But right off the bat, structurally, physically what this looks like on satellite, it looks pretty impressive to me, very organized out there. Something to note is obviously that eye, beginning to make that as it crosses the line there. Notice the eye is just as clear as ever, wobbling a little bit now, as these strong systems often do. Major Hurricane Lane continues to move west-northwest, but taking a little bit more of a northerly turn here, and that was certainly expected, and now beginning to occur. Looks like we actually do have a question in on thank you, Diego, for watching the viewing the digital weather forecast there on Twitter. And now going back over to Facebook, we're going to look at the track of this storm system. Weakening slightly from earlier, still producing sustained winds of 155 miles per hour, so very, very strong. Major hurricane, the closest pass already, without even getting any closer, that a Category 5 has made to the Hawaiian island chain, and is continuing to get closer as well. So again, this is not necessarily going to be a direct hit. This is not going to, as it looks right now, and you can see it's a close call, but not forecast to be a direct hit on the Hawaiian island chain, any of the islands here, Big Island especially, and it is forecast to quickly weaken, passing, kind of making its closest pass to the Hawaiian Big Island, the biggest island there, as a Category 3 major hurricane, then a Category 2, then a tropical storm as it gets further north and west. But that is not going to be the biggest factor here as far as wind. Again, Category is just a measurement of wind on the Saffir-Simpson scale. This is going to be a huge rain producer. It is going to absolutely drench Hawaii, and you have higher elevation here too, which will really help wring out whatever moisture is there, producing localized, very heavy rainfall amounts, 15, 20, maybe localized higher amounts, inches of rain there across the mountainous terrain. And when you have steep terrain like that, very easily you can have water, that is, and debris, trees, mud, rocks kind of rain down and flow down the sides of those mountains. So it's something, not to be taking lightly, even if this is technically, staying away from the Hawaiian island chain as far as a direct landfall is concerned. Pressure 27.61 inches, moving west-northwest. Going to need to update this, probably more northwesterly now, closer to 10 or so. Earlier, 160 mile per hour winds, now 155 miles per hour. But as I overlay satellite on this, again, I'm going to turn satellite on. This little line is just the area of lowest pressure, the forecast track for that, the eye, if you will. Of course, it can wobble around within the track. This is likely not going to follow that line exactly. And impacts extend well beyond that. Let's go out here, kind of drawing out where the brightest whites are, the tallest shower and thunderstorm clouds. It's a big old circle here, so as you bring this north, that's going to spread tons of rain here and wind and some level of storm surge, really intense waves onto the Hawaiian island chain. So I'm going to Facebook now. I've been talking about Major Hurricane Lane for quite a while now, and still an extremely dangerous storm system. It's slightly weaker than it was earlier. Sustained winds right now, 155 miles per hour. Higher gusts. Earlier, though, 160 mile per hour sustained winds. Gil says, wait, this is in the Pacific. Why are we monitoring this? I was thinking we had a storm out in the Atlantic and could have been a threat to us. Gil, I began this weather forecast saying I know it's not in the Atlantic. It is in the Pacific. We know nothing's going on in the Atlantic. We've done the tropical updates about 3-4 times this morning. Just letting you know, though, folks do have family out here. In fact, I talked with someone who was a guest on Mid Morning Live this morning. Their mother lives out here. It is still summer for some folks. They're taking cruise plans, vacation plans, and it's worth covering because this is going to be a big newsmaker and a weather sense, especially here for portions of the United States. After all, it is the United States out here, even though it's well removed from the Savannah area. Terry, this will have no effect on the eruption, and remember, the eruption is a very small area. It's very isolated. It's over kind of in this area, and this will not have a direct impact there. You know, that's more of a land creation or land function, and this is going to be something that is more atmospheric, so no direct impacts there. Let's see. Morning, Tony in Alaska. Sue, thank you for watching. Shin is praying for the people in Hawaii. Me too. Randy, same as you. Let's see. Loretta, let's see. Randall, report the news. I am talking about the weather. This is a weather forecast, the Weather Now. I talk about anything weather. Remember, your forecast is always available in the WTOC weather app, also WTOC.com. So if you're not getting something you necessarily want here, and I will talk about our forecast today, you can move on and you can watch something else on Facebook. Just remember that is always a possibility and an option there. All right, so going back to our part of the world, a little closer to home, Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea. We are quiet. There is nothing to show here. No tropical development expected within the next 5 days. You know, it is incredibly quiet, and not to jinx us here, but for the, approaching the climatological peak of hurricane season, not just over water, but taking you over to Africa here. And I'm going to pause satellite, and this is the area, the MDR, main development region, that we tend to watch as we get to the peak of hurricane season. Those big old tropical waves roll off the continent and move off to the west. They emerge in the warm water, conditions more favorable for development. This is where some of the biggest ones come from. Not always, but certainly sometimes. But right now, you know, I'm looking in this area south of kind of south of the Cape Verdes there, and not seeing much going on, not even much in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity. A little bit of those tall white thunderstorm clouds approaching the Lesser Antilles, not really an organized area of low pressure. And looking out over land, we'd be looking to see if there's any strong area of low pressure about to emerge. And certainly there are tropical waves in here that I'm marking out with the lines, but nothing looks too impressive to me. Of course, we still have a long time to go through hurricane season, and conditions will, eventually the luck will run out. We will see significant activity develop. It's just a question of where does it go, exactly when it develops, and how strong it gets. But nothing for at least the next 5 days, probably even a little bit longer. I don't want to look too far out into the future because just, inherently there's quite a bit of uncertainty with tropical forecasting. All right, for those saying that we don't care about the tropics, we just want to know about the weather, let's go back to today's forecast, starting with Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar. We are mostly dry. Weather is quiet back home. We do have one kind of broken line of showers and downpours here. Glenn County, now moving off of St. Simons down into Camden County and near St. Mary's, Fernando Beach there, northern side of the Jacksonville metro. The rest of us, though, low country, coastal empire. I know it's really cloudy outside, but we're actually dry. And on that note, I want to take you outside, and we're looking at quite a bit of overcast out there, even some low clouds. Outside right now, we're seeing those clouds. WTOC Franklin Chevrolet overhead Skycam. Few peaks of sun in there, some low clouds, also some high clouds, so kind of a filtered sunshine in some places. A lot of cloud cover. This was these low clouds really developed and really became dense, and we're certainly seeing that out there still at the moment. So as we look at temperatures, it's been a slow warm up so far this morning. 82 Savannah, 82 Jessup, 83 Waycross, 88 yesterday in Jessup at this time. So it's running cooler because of the clouds. Now I'm going to pull up satellite and radar for you. Bear with me just 1 second. I'm going to zoom down in, and I'm going to have to edit my little weather graphic here to make it more visible as far as the clouds and stuff. So just bear with me. I'm going to switch over some things for you, make this easier to see, and basically I just make the white clouds look a little bit more white. And notice how some areas are seeing sunshine. It's not everybody that's stuck in the clouds, just coincidentally we are seeing the low dense clouds develop, almost like a fall time sort of pattern out there. We just need to break out of them. I think we will. We just need to warm up a little bit more. We need a little bit more mixing to take place, and we should break out of the low clouds. So putting this in motion, and it looks like the satellite data is a little bit delayed there. I'm going to take you back a little bit further. Hopefully it won't be as jumpy. But notice how we had a few clouds this morning, and then really it anchored itself along I-95, and the clouds have been pretty persistent for the past few hours, beginning to diminish, though, inland, and I do think more sunshine back in the city of Savannah here this afternoon. Jeannie, not necessarily fall yet, but almost a fall-like look outside. Doesn't feel like fall. It's muggy, it's warm, but it looks kind of gray, fall, Halloween-like weather out there. Well, it looks like fall. It doesn't feel like fall. I don't want to get anybody too excited out there. We have a cold front coming in. It's going to be getting a little bit cooler in quotes. So I'll be detailing that coming up in just a few minutes. Kayla, what about Statesboro? We are mostly we're dry right now. No rain headed into that area. Bullitt County, just a partly cloudy sky. And as we go deeper into the day, I do think, though, that as this boundary, this cold front, again, really it's not going to get cold behind it, but that is a scientific definition there. As it moves off to the south and to the east, we're going to keep an isolated rain chance in the forecast. Notice by 1 p.m. after lunch, we're seeing a couple of showers develop, especially along the coast. It's pretty isolated, and there's a lot of dry space in between. If you're watching from Emanuel County, if you're watching from Candler-Jenkins counties, if you're watching from Toombs, Wheeler, Montgomery counties, Screven County, Hampton County, I think this swath of land going to have the lowest rain chance out of anybody today. But I-95 low country all the way down to Glenn County, also 84, kind of bringing you back further north and west from Hinesville, Fort Stewart through Jessup down to Waycross. Maybe also areas further west, south of the Altamaha River. This kind of, little L-shaped area of land, kind of backwards L there, has the greatest chance of a shower. And it'll be this afternoon, early evening, but really just right at the coastline by 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening. And then we're done overnight tonight. We're going to dry out. It's an isolated rain chance today. It is not a washout, but there will be a couple showers around. Just want you to be aware of that. And then behind this little boundary, we are going to cool down a little bit here, showing you the 7-day forecast. Again, it's not cold. Let's see. Randall has a problem with me looking at my phone. Randall, my thoughts have nothing to do with it. I'm reading comments. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to walk up and show you what I'm doing, letting you in on part of the process in case you're curious. You can see my phone. I don't know if the brightness is there. I read your comments as these live feeds go on. That's what allows this process to be so interactive. If I didn't have my phone, I wouldn't be able to see what people are saying and to be able to answer specific questions, and the flow of information would be hampered. So Randall, sorry it bothers you, but I consider it a pretty crucial part of my job. So if you don't like this format, it may not be for everybody. You can navigate over to maybe a more traditional form of weather forecasting or news information, WTOC.com, the news app, the weather app. Again, a lot of this information is there, but I just won't be able to directly answer your questions, Randall. So we're going to keep doing this. Occasionally I will be looking down at my phone, but it really doesn't have anything to do with, I live, I eat, I breathe weather. We all do here, the First Alert Weather team. We know what the forecast is, but we do have to look down to answer questions that are coming in. So the next 7 days, isolated rain today. Looking at the extended forecast here, again, pretty isolated, just a 20% chance of a shower tomorrow. And I'm going to edit some of these icons here. It looks like something may have changed with the computer. So let's see, bear with me here as we get into the extended forecast. It is going to warm back up. No, it's not cold or anything like that, but we have a chance, even the city of Savannah, some data indicates we could cool, especially on the west side, Pooler, Bloomingdale, West Chatham, Garden City, Port Wentworth, cool into the upper 60s Friday morning. Now, we will bounce back into the upper 80s to near 90s, so this is not a fall-time cold front, but it will be slightly cooler. Scattered showers and storms return Friday, last into Saturday, also Sunday. and that we're going to be watching out for that, but not a washout of a work week or a weekend. And then remember, weekend is when we're going to have the greatest chance of showers and storms, but we will have an increase in moisture. Humidity is going to return. Overnight low temperatures are going to warm back up into the mid to upper 70s. Kind of notice that trend there, and the chance of rain will increase. Let's see. Jeannie wants to know, we should always be on the alert for tropical disturbances. Randall is trying to give a little help. Didn't really help, though. Got to answer the questions, but I do appreciate the feedback. Again, it is, you know, it's just a weather flow of information. This is kind of a non-traditional way of getting it, Randall, but I just, unfortunately, I wish I was smart enough to know what people were just saying on Facebook, and it just zapped into my head, and I'd be able to respond to them, but I got to look at my phone because it comes in real time. China, I do like the way that you, or thank you, says she does like this sort of forecasting, and again, if you do, congrats, then thank you for watching. Glad you like it. I tend to like stuff like this, too. And if you don't, that's totally okay, Randall. You can find another way. And we have those platforms for you, the news app, the weather app, WTOC.com, and in a newscast. Let's see what else is going on. I'm going to let some more questions come in. If anyone has any more weather questions, of course, I would be happy to answer those. Going over to the tropical update. I know I gave the tropical update first, but again, this is why it's so important to pay attention. And it's, you know, everyone they go about their day. They have to feed the kiddos, they get them to school, they go to work, then they have to come home, do chores, go to sleep, go to work, and it's repetitive and you're just always busy. I get it, I totally do. But it's always good to pay attention to the weather, and we try to make it as accessible as possible because of the platforms I was talking about a moment ago. But just remember, the Atlantic is absolutely quiet, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Hopefully not, if you had time to glance, that we're quiet. There's no threat locally, but we need to talk about what's going on over in Hawaii, and actually plays a little bit into why it's so quiet in the Atlantic. It is not unusual with an oncoming El Nino to have a very busy hurricane season in the central and eastern Pacific. You know, over there, where Hawaii, Central Pacific, Mexico, kind of in that northeastern Pacific region. And then the Atlantic, kind of opposite, and equally so, quiet. And that's not atypical when we kind of go into an El Nino type period. So just one of the signs that, yes, an El Nino may indeed be forming. We may have that coming up fall and this winter. Okay, so again, this is Hawaii. Right here, the island chain was 160 mile per hour sustained hurricane, mile per hour wind packing system there, and moving off to the north and to the northwest. It's making the turn. So again, this is not for us. This is Hawaii, but got to let folks know it's going to be a big news maker. You're going to see more about it and the news at daybreak, noon, in the evenings, because folks over there really having to prep for this. A lot of vacation plans. It's still summer, peak kind of tourism season there, or one of the peak times. And it will be raining a lot there. And what I mean by that, I mean 15 to 20 inches of rain, certainly possible. And when they have high terrain like that, flash flooding is pretty likely. So this is going to cause some damage, even though the worst of the conditions, the really gusty winds, going to remain offshore. It is forecast to weaken. Again, if you have family members out here, spoke with someone on Mid-Morning Live, I guess, had their mother in Hawaii, and they were just curious what was going on, and they said they appreciated the update. So, you know, I know it doesn't impact everybody, but we still have to talk about it because it does impact some of our viewers in at least indirect ways. So northwestern portions of the Hawaii island chain probably going to be the hardest hit, but a weakening system. It will not directly hit any of the islands as a Category 5. Weakening has begun and will continue, and not presently forecast to directly hit any island, but it will be pretty nasty there. So again, we're tracking showers and a few thunderstorms today. Really just showers, maybe a little bit of lightning thunder out there back home. We're dry except for Glenn County, far southern portions of McIntosh County's Camden County right now. Do you think we'll see a little bit more develop as soon as the sunshine comes back out, lasting through the afternoon and the early evening? It's not a washout of a day, but a few showers, thunder showers around. Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley is in the Weather Center, and he'll have your complete weather forecast coming up, B-News at noon. And Randall, I'm going to show you one of the ways so you can watch one of these more traditional weather forecasts. It's the WTOC weather app, so I'm going to be pulling that up now. one of our other devices here, and if you're opening up the app and you just want that straight weather forecast where you can look at the 7-day radar, stuff like that, all you have to do is scroll down kind of below all the weather data. That is an old forecast, well, not old, but from this morning. Again, if you missed the news, you can also watch previously recorded forecasts, but the Watch Live feature, well, let's go back down, is there at the bottom of the weather app. And again, we'll be posting more updates throughout the day on social media, in the news, and the weather apps. And Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley will have your complete weather forecast coming up on the news at noon. Have a good afternoon, everybody.